Love sometimes enters life during periods when individuals are still struggling to build stability, heal emotional wounds, or discover their personal direction, making the connection feel mistimed rather than welcomed. Yet such encounters often serve a deeper psychological purpose, pushing people toward growth they might otherwise postpone. When two individuals meet under imperfect circumstances, the emotional intensity forces them to confront fears of commitment, abandonment, or inadequacy that quietly shape their choices. Instead of offering immediate comfort, the connection challenges both to evolve, to question long-held assumptions, and to examine whether they truly understand their own emotional needs. The timing appears inconvenient because life rarely aligns perfectly with inner readiness. Careers may be uncertain, responsibilities overwhelming, or personal healing incomplete, yet the emotional recognition feels undeniable. Such experiences reveal that love is not always meant to provide instant fulfillment. Sometimes it awakens dormant parts of the self that demand attention and transformation. This kind of meeting encourages emotional courage, teaching individuals to balance longing with patience and self-development. Even if circumstances prevent the relationship from continuing, the encounter leaves lasting impact, shaping future decisions and emotional awareness. When love pushes individuals toward maturity rather than comfort, it suggests the meeting is part of a larger personal journey where timing challenges are not obstacles but invitations to become stronger, wiser, and more emotionally prepared for the relationships that life will offer next. In many cases, people later realize that what seemed like unfortunate timing actually served as preparation for deeper emotional understanding. When love arrives before individuals feel fully ready, it highlights unresolved personal issues that require attention before any lasting partnership can succeed. Instead of blaming fate or circumstances, reflection often reveals that both individuals needed time apart to grow independently, develop emotional resilience, and clarify personal goals. The connection becomes a catalyst, motivating change that might never have occurred without that emotional awakening. One person may pursue long-delayed ambitions, while the other confronts fears that previously limited their ability to love openly. The wrong time, therefore, becomes a powerful teacher, showing that emotional readiness cannot be rushed. Even when separation occurs, memories of the connection continue guiding personal choices, reminding both individuals of the emotional depth they experienced. Over time, gratitude often replaces regret, as each recognizes how profoundly the encounter influenced personal growth. Whether or not paths cross again, the lesson remains clear. Meaningful love sometimes appears early, not to stay immediately, but to awaken emotional maturity necessary for future happiness. What once seemed mistimed reveals itself as perfectly aligned with inner transformation, proving that life sometimes introduces powerful connections not to satisfy desire instantly, but to guide individuals toward becoming the people capable of sustaining genuine love when the right moment finally arrives. One powerful sign that love carries the mark of destiny, even when timing seems wrong, is the way the emotional connection refuses to fade despite distance or separation. In ordinary relationships, feelings gradually weaken when communication ends or circumstances change. Yet in certain encounters, memories remain vivid, emotions resurface unexpectedly, and thoughts of the person return without effort. This persistence suggests the bond touches deeper psychological layers rather than surface attraction. Even when logic advises moving on, the emotional thread remains active, shaping reflections and personal growth. Individuals may try to distract themselves through work or new experiences, yet moments of silence bring the connection back into awareness. Such persistence does not necessarily mean two people must immediately be together. Instead, it often signals unfinished emotional learning between them. Destiny sometimes creates distance, so both individuals can mature independently while still carrying the influence of the connection. During separation, lessons learned from the relationship continue shaping decisions, emotional boundaries, and future expectations. One begins to understand personal needs more clearly, while the other gains insight into emotional patterns previously unnoticed. Over time, individuals recognize that the bond helped them evolve, even without constant presence. When emotional ties survive absence, misunderstandings, or physical distance, it reveals a connection rooted in deep psychological recognition. Rather than being a coincidence, such persistence suggests life introduced the connection to awaken growth that would not occur otherwise, making the separation part of the journey rather than the end of it. As time passes, people often discover that distance did not weaken the connection, but refined their understanding of it. When both individuals continue their lives yet still feel emotionally influenced by the encounter, it shows the relationship played a meaningful role in their personal evolution. Instead of fading into the background, the connection becomes a reference point for emotional authenticity, reminding them what genuine understanding feels like. Many realize that during separation they developed greater patience, independence, and clarity about what they truly seek in partnership. Attempts to replace the bond may feel incomplete, not because new relationships lack value, but because the earlier encounter awakened deeper emotional awareness. Destiny sometimes allows individuals to part temporarily, so each can grow without relying entirely on the relationship for identity or fulfillment. When paths cross again, both often notice how personal growth has reshaped their perspectives, making communication easier or providing closure that once seemed impossible. Even if reunion never occurs, the influence remains constructive rather than painful, guiding individuals toward healthier relationships and stronger emotional boundaries. The lesson becomes clear: love that persists beyond presence teaches resilience and self-understanding. What once felt like unfortunate separation reveals itself as part of a greater design, showing that meaningful connections do not disappear easily because their purpose extends beyond romance, helping individuals evolve into emotionally stronger versions of themselves capable of building deeper and more conscious relationships in the future. Another strong sign that love carries the sense of destiny, even when circumstances prevent immediate union, is the powerful influence both individuals have on each other's life direction. Some encounters feel ordinary and leave little lasting impact, yet certain connections awaken hidden ambitions, emotional courage, or long-ignored dreams. When two people meet at what feels like the wrong time, the emotional connection often pushes both to reevaluate their goals, habits, and personal limitations. One may feel inspired to pursue a long-delayed career change, while the other gains the courage to address unresolved emotional struggles. The presence of the other becomes a mirror, revealing strengths and fears that previously remained unnoticed. Instead of merely providing companionship, the relationship acts as a catalyst for transformation. Even brief periods of closeness can lead to decisions that shape future success, confidence, or emotional independence. Destiny connections rarely revolve only around romance. They awaken individuals to possibilities beyond their comfort zones. The wrong timing forces both people to grow separately, ensuring personal development occurs independently rather than through emotional dependence. Later reflection often reveals that meeting the other person marked the beginning of significant personal change. People realize they would not have pursued certain goals or confronted important truths without that emotional encounter. Such influence suggests the meeting was not accidental but part of a larger life pattern guiding personal evolution. Love, in this sense, becomes less about possession and more about awakening potential within each person. even if the relationship cannot continue at that moment. With time, individuals frequently recognize that the connection reshaped their identity in ways they initially failed to understand. When two people inspire each other to become braver, more honest, or emotionally stronger, the encounter serves a purpose beyond temporary happiness. Even after separation, lessons learned continue guiding decisions, influencing how individuals handle future relationships and challenges. The motivation sparked by the connection often leads to personal achievements or emotional healing that might have seemed impossible before. Destiny sometimes brings people together not to remain forever, but to ignite necessary growth within each person's life journey. The wrong time ensures both individuals must stand independently, building strength without relying solely on emotional support from the relationship. If paths later cross again, both may find themselves more aligned, having matured through experiences sparked by their earlier meeting. Even if reunion never occurs, the impact remains positive, shaping how each approaches love, ambition, and self-worth. The deeper realization emerges that certain relationships enter life as turning points rather than permanent destinations. They guide individuals toward authenticity and courage, showing that love sometimes appears not merely to stay, but to awaken hidden potential and direct life toward greater fulfillment long after circumstances forced temporary separation. Another indication that love carries the mark of destiny despite difficult timing appears when obstacles between two people come mainly from external circumstances rather than lack of feeling. Both individuals may clearly recognize their emotional connection, yet responsibilities, career pressures, family expectations, or personal healing journeys stand in the way of immediate union. The frustration grows not because love is absent, but because life conditions refuse to cooperate. Such situations test emotional sincerity, revealing whether affection can survive beyond convenience. When people genuinely care, they do not easily dismiss the bond simply because conditions are complicated. Instead, they struggle internally, questioning whether patience or sacrifice is possible. Destiny sometimes introduces love during challenging periods to ensure emotional maturity develops before commitment occurs. Without facing these tests, relationships often collapse when confronted by real-life pressures. The wrong timing forces both individuals to examine priorities, personal fears, and readiness for long-term responsibility. They learn the difference between temporary attraction and a connection capable of enduring hardship. Even if separation becomes necessary, both carry the emotional lessons forward, understanding the importance of emotional resilience and honest communication. When love remains steady despite distance or obstacles, it suggests the connection exists on deeper ground than circumstance alone, showing that destiny sometimes delays union not to deny happiness, but to prepare individuals for a stronger future relationship built on emotional stability rather than impulse or dependency. With reflection, many later recognize that those obstacles served a hidden purpose, shaping them into individuals capable of sustaining deeper partnerships. When responsibilities or life circumstances prevented immediate union, both people were often still developing emotional or practical foundations necessary for lasting commitment. Time apart allows each person to complete important personal journeys, whether building career security, healing past emotional wounds, or learning independence. When two individuals later reconnect or reflect on the experience, they often realize how much growth occurred during separation. Destiny sometimes requires distance, so love can mature rather than collapse under pressure. Even if reunion never happens, the encounter teaches patience and emotional clarity, showing that genuine connection is not always meant for immediate fulfillment. Instead of seeing the wrong time as loss, individuals eventually understand it as preparation. They recognize that forcing relationships before readiness often leads to regret, while delayed timing allows emotional strength to develop naturally. The deeper lesson becomes clear. Love that survives obstacles leaves individuals wiser, more compassionate, and better prepared for future relationships. In this way, destiny uses difficulty not to punish, but to shape emotional readiness, ensuring that when love finally aligns with life circumstances, it stands on a foundation strong enough to endure challenges and grow into something meaningful and lasting. A fifth sign that love may be guided by destiny, even when timing feels inconvenient, appears in the immediate sense of familiarity two people feel upon meeting. Sometimes conversations flow effortlessly from the beginning. Silence feels comfortable rather than awkward, and emotional understanding arises without lengthy explanations. This recognition feels deeper than ordinary attraction, as if both individuals intuitively understand each other's emotional world. Even when circumstances suggest caution or delay, the connection feels natural and strangely comforting. Such familiarity often comes from shared emotional experiences, similar values, or psychological compatibility that allows both people to feel seen and accepted without effort. Destiny connections frequently move beyond superficial charm and enter emotional depth quickly, creating attachment before practical conditions support a relationship. The wrong timing then becomes a challenge, forcing individuals to question whether they should follow emotional truth or obey practical limitations. This inner conflict encourages emotional clarity, helping both understand their true desires and fears. Even if separation becomes necessary, the emotional ease experienced remains unforgettable, shaping expectations for future relationships. Individuals often realize that emotional comfort is rare and cannot be manufactured. Such recognition suggests the meeting was not random, but part of a deeper life pattern encouraging emotional awareness. When familiarity feels profound rather than casual, it indicates that destiny sometimes introduces meaningful connections early, planting emotional seeds that influence personal growth long before life circumstances align for possible union. As time passes, people often notice that the sense of familiarity continues influencing how they evaluate future connections. After experiencing deep emotional understanding with someone, superficial relationships become less satisfying, encouraging individuals to seek authenticity rather than convenience. Destiny connections often leave lasting impressions because they reveal what genuine emotional safety feels like. Even when two people move forward separately, memories of emotional ease guide their expectations, teaching them not to settle for relationships lacking mutual understanding. The wrong timing ensures both individuals must continue growing independently while carrying the lessons learned from their encounter. If they reconnect later, they often discover that maturity and life experience have strengthened the compatibility they initially felt. Even if reunion never happens, both individuals benefit from the emotional awareness gained. They learn to value honesty, patience, and emotional openness in future partnerships. The realization eventually emerges that certain people enter life not simply to stay, but to awaken deeper emotional standards and self-understanding. In this way, destiny sometimes introduces powerful connections early to prepare individuals for healthier relationships later, ensuring that love is chosen consciously rather than out of loneliness or fear, ultimately guiding them toward emotional fulfillment built on understanding, respect, and genuine connection rather than temporary attraction or circumstance. Another meaningful sign that love carries a sense of destiny, even when it cannot continue at the moment, appears when separation leads not to bitterness, but to unexpected gratitude and personal growth. In many ordinary relationships, endings produce resentment, blame, or emotional closure driven by disappointment. However, in certain connections, Even after circumstances force distance, both individuals recognize the encounter as meaningful rather than painful. Instead of focusing only on loss, they gradually appreciate how the relationship encouraged emotional awareness and personal development. Destiny connections often teach love without possession, showing that caring for someone does not always mean holding them permanently. When individuals part with respect and reflection rather than hostility, it reveals emotional depth uncommon in temporary attachments. Even if sadness remains, it coexists with understanding that both needed different journeys at that time. Such experiences encourage maturity, teaching that love can exist without control or resentment. The wrong timing ensures individuals learn emotional independence, realizing happiness cannot rely entirely on another person's presence. Over time, memories of the relationship become sources of strength rather than regret. People carry forward lessons about communication, vulnerability, and emotional honesty that improve future connections. When gratitude replaces anger, it signals emotional growth shaped by meaningful interaction. Destiny sometimes places people temporarily in each other's lives not to create permanent partnership, but to awaken emotional compassion and self-awareness that continue guiding personal journeys long after separation occurs. With reflection, many individuals later see that the experience prepared them for healthier relationships and stronger emotional boundaries. Instead of viewing the separation as failure, they understand it as part of personal evolution that helped both individuals recognize their needs and limitations. The connection may have revealed patterns of fear, insecurity, or dependency that required healing before any lasting partnership could succeed. Destiny sometimes requires individuals to meet, learn, and then part so each can grow independently. When both move forward with gratitude rather than resentment, it demonstrates emotional wisdom gained through the experience. Even if reunion never happens, the influence remains constructive, shaping how each person approaches love in the future. They become more patient, empathetic, and emotionally responsible in new relationships, carrying lessons learned into healthier connections. The deeper realization emerges that some relationships serve as guides rather than destinations, teaching individuals how to love more consciously. In this way, what once seemed like unfortunate timing becomes recognized as necessary preparation. Destiny uses temporary encounters to shape emotional maturity, ensuring individuals continue their journeys stronger and more self-aware. Love, even when it cannot remain, leaves behind insight and compassion that support future happiness, proving that meaningful connections do not end in loss, but in growth that influences life long after the relationship itself has passed. A seventh sign that love may carry the influence of destiny, even when circumstances force separation, appears when attempts to replace the connection fail to provide similar emotional fulfillment. After meeting someone who creates deep emotional understanding, future relationships may feel incomplete despite genuine effort. This does not mean new partners lack value, but rather that certain connections awaken emotional depth that becomes difficult to forget. Individuals often notice that conversations, emotional support, or shared moments with others do not produce the same sense of recognition or comfort experienced before. Destiny connections leave strong emotional impressions because they reveal a level of authenticity rarely encountered. Even when people consciously move forward, memories of that connection quietly shape their expectations and emotional standards. The wrong timing prevents immediate continuation, yet the emotional impact remains active, influencing choices and encouraging individuals to seek relationships built on sincerity rather than convenience. Over time, individuals realize they are not simply comparing people, but recognizing the unique emotional awakening that occurred during that earlier encounter. Such experiences help clarify what truly matters in partnership, guiding individuals away from superficial attraction toward deeper compatibility. When emotional fulfillment proves difficult to replicate, it suggests the connection served an important psychological purpose. Destiny sometimes introduces powerful bonds early to establish emotional awareness that shapes future decisions, ensuring individuals do not settle for relationships lacking genuine understanding or emotional safety. As time passes, many individuals begin to appreciate how the earlier connection refined their emotional expectations rather than trapping them in the past. Instead of remaining attached to memory, they use the lessons learned to pursue healthier and more meaningful relationships. Destiny connections often act as emotional benchmarks, teaching individuals how genuine communication, mutual respect, and emotional support should feel. When future relationships fall short, people are encouraged to reflect on what they truly seek, rather than forcing attachment out of fear of loneliness. The wrong timing allows both individuals to continue growing independently while carrying insights gained from their encounter. If they meet again later, they may discover that maturity and life experience have created conditions for a stronger partnership. Even if reunion never occurs, the emotional clarity gained remains valuable. Individuals become more honest about their needs and more patient in choosing partners who match their emotional depth. The realization emerges that certain people enter life to raise emotional awareness rather than stay permanently. In this way, destiny uses powerful connections to guide individuals towards self-understanding and healthier future relationships, ensuring that love is eventually chosen with wisdom and emotional maturity rather than impulse, ultimately leading to partnerships built on genuine compatibility and lasting fulfillment, rather than temporary attraction or circumstance. A final sign that love carries the influence of destiny, even when it appears at an inconvenient time, emerges when two individuals continue evolving in strangely similar ways despite being apart. After separation, both may independently experience comparable life challenges, emotional awakenings, or personal transformations without knowing the other is undergoing similar changes. When they later reconnect or hear about each other's journeys, the parallels often feel surprising, as if their paths remained quietly connected despite distance. Such experiences suggest the relationship awakened growth processes that continued shaping both individuals separately. Destiny sometimes separates people temporarily so each can develop independence and maturity before any reunion or emotional closure becomes possible. During this time, individuals may confront fears, pursue ambitions, or heal emotional wounds that once prevented healthy partnership. Even without communication, both appear to learn lessons preparing them for stronger emotional understanding. When their lives move in parallel growth, it reveals that the meeting influenced deeper psychological development rather than only romantic feelings. The wrong timing becomes part of a larger life design, ensuring each person becomes emotionally stronger alone before sharing life with someone else. When paths cross again, they often find each other changed yet more compatible, able to communicate with greater honesty and emotional balance.